Hello there, statisticians. We have got a short little section 3-4, exploratory data analysis. It's actually 5-number summaries and box plots. The 5-number summaries we've pretty much done calculated already in this chapter, and box plots are a nice, neat little visual representation of our data. And I know I've said before it's going to be short. This one's going to be short for sure. So 5-number summaries and box plots. A box plot is a graphical representation of your data, and it really shows you how our 5-number summary happens. So it's kind of a cool situation. These ones might be my favorites. This is something that you can do for your project, and I know we had to wait a while to get there, but this is one of our options. So in order to make a box plot, you have to have your 5-number summary. We've already done this. Find our min, find Q1, Q2, right? Q2 is our median, don't forget. Find Q3 and our max value. Those are all going to be things that we use as we construct our box plots. Once you've got your 5-number summary, so by the way, in an assignment, if I ever say, find the 5-number summary for this data, those are the 5 things I'm looking for. After you have your 5-number summary, draw yourself a horizontal axis, put a scale on the axis because you need to know where that data falls. Remember, this is raw data. And then locate and mark each of the values of your 5-number summary. So you're actually going to put a mark for your min, your max, your Q1s, 2s, and 3s. So once you've got all those marks, you're going to draw vertical lines through Q1 and Q3 and make it into a box. You are going to draw a vertical line through the median, Q2. So you're going to have like a little line through your box. And then you're going to draw horizontal lines connecting Q1 to the min and Q3 to the max. They call this box plots. When I learned them way back in the day, we called them box and whisker plots. So those the horizontal lines that are connecting to the min and the max are the whiskers. So it's a box and whisker plot. So there are some things, we're going to make one in just a second, but there are some things that our box and whiskers can tell us about what the data looks like. So if you look at just the box part of your data, remember, we always like it when our data is very symmetric. That's like a perfect world. Everything falls nice and neat. If your median is near the center of the box, your distribution is pretty symmetric, pretty normal curve or bell curve. If your median falls left of center, remember, I hope you remember, as we're talking about median, I'm talking about Q2. That's going to be the vertical line that we put inside the box. So if your median is to the left, that means that we've got a positively skewed data. Most of my data is falling to the left, and I've got some pieces that are pulling to the right. So it's a positive or right skewed. So then the opposite, if my median falls to the right, so here's my box plot. So here's where my median is falling to the left. So it would be right skewed. So most of my data is here. I've got some pieces that are pulling that way. Whoops. The opposite happens then. If my median is to the right, the distribution is negatively skewed. So, whoops, so it looks like this. That means most of my data is up here, and it's pulling to the left or to the negative direction. So I'm going to ask you questions just based on looking at the box plot, looking at the box itself, and then you can also look at the whiskers, so the 2 lines connecting to the max and mins. If your 2 lines are about the same length, you've got yourself a pretty symmetric distribution. So if my whiskers are the same length and my box is, the median is near the center, I've got a really nice set of data. Very symmetric, evenly, symmetrically distributed. If your right line is longer than your left line, so this guy is just doing what it does, but this one is way out, again, that supports a positive skew. I've got a lot of data that's pulling to the right or the positive direction. And if my left line is longer, my distribution is negatively skewed. I've got a lot of data pulling to the left or to the negative direction. So I'll ask you questions like that. Looking at this box and whisker, what does it tell you? So let's create one. I got one practice here. Practice 1 says, find the 5-number summary and construct a box plot. And I did not put my data in order. Remember, that's what we have to do in order to find our 5-number summary, well, our Q1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to jot down my min, Q1, Q2, Q3, and max. So let's put this data in order to start. It's close, but not quite. What do I got? A 12, 13, 15, 16. Please feel free to do this yourself and tell me if I got it wrong, because that's always embarrassing. 27 and 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pieces of data. So n equals 9. So this data looks familiar to me. I don't know about you. So first thing, obviously our min and our max. Our min is 12, right? Our smallest value. Our max is 36. We do not have to find the range, even though you could probably do that math problem pretty quickly. If we're looking for our Q2, remember Q2 is always our first thing because that is the median. So I believe that 18 is going to be my Q2. Q1, remember, is the median of my lower half. So Q1 is going to fall here, directly in between 13 and 15. So 13 plus 15 divided by 2, or perhaps you can just calculate that out to a 14. My Q3 is going to fall here, the median of my top half. So 20 plus 27 divided by 2, so that's going to be like 23 and a half. And I've got everything I need to set up my box plot. So I need to make myself then, once I've got my 5-number summary, I need to make myself a scale. That scale needs to go from my min to my max, 12 to 36. Probably shouldn't have done that way, but it could be tricky. How about I just do this? Sorry, I can't erase quite so evenly. Here's 10, 20, 30. And we go on. That seemed like an easier way. So we're going to put a little mark for each one of our 5 numbers from our 5-number summary. So I need a little dot at 12, a little dot at 14, a dot at 18, 23 and a half, do the best you can, and 36. All right, so now I go ahead and I make vertical lines through my Q1, Q3, and technically my Q2 as well. So line, a line, and a line. I'm going to connect those guys like that. And then I connect the whiskers to each one of my min and max. So I've got myself a box plot. If I asked you about the data, hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if that didn't. It's pretty simple. It's kind of a fun little thing to do. If you look at that data, what do the whiskers tell us about this data? Notice how the right whisker is a lot longer than the other. So this tells us that it's probably positively or right skewed. When you look at the box, that's the easy one to see. When you look at the box, does the box also sort of support that? Well, it looks like my Q2 or my median is a little bit to the left of center. So that also supports a positive or right skewed. Typically, those two things will be in agreement. If they're not, there's often an outlier, and we'd probably end up doing our interquartile range and then going from there. So that is our box and whisker plots and our 5-number summary. Hopefully you found that short and sweet and super easy. That's it for section 3-4 and for chapter 3. I'll see you in the next chapter.